Hello. I come your way today to address a very popular narrative in many places. It's a global narrative. The fact that formal education is typically not a big deal because people who have dropped out of school have grown to become billionaires following their passion. And most often, someone like Steve Jobs is often used as an example. And many times, people who have pushed these narratives actually do so in direct repudiation, if you like, almost making fun of formal education and the fact that it's really not important to have formal education because people can make it even without having formal education. If you're a young man, I want to challenge you to not listen to such narratives. Education is important, and every young person must pursue formal education. First and foremost, formal education gives you a certain level of analytical rigor and thinking. It gives you the opportunity to at least fit within systems that the globe has developed as a measure of progress. Education is important. Do not listen to the narratives of you can drop after secondary school, you can drop and you can become a millionaire. It's not an entirely true story. If you were to take 1 million school dropouts, you probably will get a very, very small, minor, very, very little, small percentage of such people who eventually are able to make it within constrained environment. So let me give you one of the reasons or a couple of reasons why the stories that we hear often happen. So for example, Steve Jobs is often told, he dropped out of school and then he went into coding, and therefore if you go to Steve Jobs' education, as much as Mark Zuckerberg's education, where there were people who had very good foundational education, and they also had supportive parents who had a certain resource available, a certain level of support that they can rely on. If you are like me from a village in Yeji, and you decide that you want to drop out of school because somebody else dropped out of school and became a billionaire, I tell you, you would mess up your entire life. So it's important that this framing of drop out of school because you can get something. And I've heard, and I'm making this video because I've heard a lot of young people, secondary school children, who think that learning in secondary school is too tough, and therefore they want to break away and go and set up a business and all of that. And if we set up a business, if you go into aquaculture, you can get such and such amount of money in a day. And I encourage entrepreneurship. But I tell you, do not cut short your education because you want to pursue entrepreneurship. You can grow your passion for entrepreneurship and set up businesses, learn out of it, and you will fail many times because the environment, the micro environment is very tough for businesses to survive. So don't be in a hurry to leave school. Even for those of our colleagues who are formally employed and are running side hustles, don't be in a hurry to leave your formal employment to pursue fully your side hustle until you are sure that the side hustle has gained grounds. It has been accepted by the market. You are able to sell certain volumes of whatever product or service you have. You are breaking even before you decide that you want to leave your formal employment if you are already employed. If you are not employed and you really you are finished school, you are not doing anything, and you want to go ahead and set up something, I encourage that. And when I was dean, we set up the Innovation Hub in the business school in Legon, and you can go there and ask for help. They will help you on how to set up your business, how to go through your business. Another day, I'll make another video on how to register your business and formalize it, because often that advice also comes with a lot of constraints for young people when they try to formalize their businesses. But I want to go back quickly to the conversation around don't follow the narrative of, oh, we can, if I abandon school, I can become a millionaire because I can pursue my. The world out there swallows, people who do not have focus. It swallows people who don't have grounding. I've also heard a conversation around, well, our educational system produces people who cannot think for themselves, who cannot. As a teacher, I understand, but I also know that this is an overgeneralization, because there are the greatest of the minds of our times are also produced from the same educational systems that we criticize. So it's important that no one is driven along a delusional path, a path of self, distraction, to say that you shouldn't pursue formal education. The conversation also goes even into issues of, oh, but why should you go and do a master's degree when first degree hasn't given you anything? Please, if you have what it takes to do a master's degree, do it. Even if you have what it takes to do a PhD, and I don't encourage everybody to go do PhD, because PhD is reserved solely for people who want to do research or who want to enter academia. So, but I tell you, if you have what it takes to do a master's degree, please go ahead and do that master's degree. Why? Because master's degree gives you the functional knowledge to be able to perform at expertise level. And in most organizations, to be able to rise from lower level to middle level to upper level, you require a master's level degree. So that's important for career growth, career progression, and self-actualization and contribution to industry and society. So if you can do that, go ahead and do it. When you want to do it, please make sure that you have taken advice. And if you watch some of my previous videos, I give advice on what you can do or what you should do if you have to take a master's degree. But don't get it twisted. Don't accept this narrative that as a young man, it's okay to not go to school and you can go and hustle and all of that. And I'll give you a few more examples why you should take education seriously. Check all the billionaires in the world. And in Ghana, check the millionaires, the people who are rich and didn't get an education. Check, all of them are struggling to get validation from education. So you would hear Dr. So and so, who probably doesn't have a doctorate degree, doesn't have a PhD. But once they get money, they want to get an educational qualification to validate themselves. I've also seen people who are very rich and are scared of their own future because they think that they need a certain level of education to be able to manage their businesses successfully. I've seen footballers who have been very, very successful, and because they didn't get education, sometimes they are constrained by what they can do because of their lack of formal education. So this video is meant to encourage all young men and women who have access to go to have formal education to do so, and make sure that whilst you do so, you find ways of making yourself productive to society, but never replace formal education with anything. If you can have it, get it. If you can get a master's degree, get it. If you can go further, go get it. When you finish and you can get other forms of education that makes you even more useful, for example, technical education and all of that, go ahead and get it. Maybe I should just add that when you get in a formal education, you don't have to get only a liberal arts education. You can get a technical education, you can get a vocational education. All of those are important. So you can be a mason, you want to get and make sure that you get the education that allows you to be able to give the kind of contribution that our society requires of you. Don't get it twisted. Please get a formal education. Thank you so much.